Hello YouTube, this is Cat from Set Free and Pass. Today I'm going to be going through my Adventure Virtual World deck profile. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to break it down into the virtual side of the package. I'll then go through the adventure cards that I use, then the additional cards that I use on top of that separately, and also then the extra deck. So let's begin. So starting off with virtual world package. With all virtual packages, you need to have 3 Lulus, regardless of whatever ratios you go with. This always has to be a 3. It's your starter, your extender. Essentially goes into so many of your plays. If you get this plus a Kowloon, you've essentially got full combo, no matter what, basically. Assuming you get through some hand traps. So yeah, always run this at 3. Then you got Yugioh. Yugioh I've still got 3, mainly because of the fact, 1, it's a level 3, it's a non-tuner, which is useful in this deck. Also, the fact is that it gets a card back to your hands in your end phase, and usually it'll be your Lulu, which can be crucial for follow-up. I then do slightly different, as I use 2 Lilies. I did, like most profiles, use 3 of these at one point or another, but in this particular deck, because space is so a premium, that basically I've cut it down to 2. I don't ever find that I need to use it very often, other than going into my level 6s, but then I've got Yugioh, for example, to increase the level of, say, your GG. But this will help go into your, like, your Beatrice, your Shen, but because of the fact it's 2, either 2 Foolish Barrel, a Foolish Barrel, 2 Foolish Barrel Goods, or whatever it will be, to get cards into your grave and start some of the plays off. But if you draw into 2 of these, you're not really usually having a great day, so I've got it as 2. I also only run 2 Laolaus, generally because of the fact I don't want to draw multiple of them in my opening hand, and ideally you don't want to draw into it at all. You want this to be one of those you search as part of your extensions. It's really good cards because of the fact it allows you to do a Monster Reborn from your grave. But obviously, if this is your opening hand and this is your first play, you can't use that effect because usually the card you've sent is the only one in the grave. So that's why you want to do it as later on in the play as possible, where you've sent a couple of virtual monsters to the grave beforehand. Then 1 Nyam. I have run this at 2, and I've also tried it at 3. I was never a fan of Desires in the first place when I used this previously, but I did run 1 then, I still now. Don't usually find there's much of a scenario where I'll need multiple of these, because of the fact with E-Tally being a 3, also with the fact of the recursion of this deck, whether through Yugioh or Shen sending cards from your bench pile back. You don't tend to need this very often, but having 1 of them is the perfect number, because you don't, again, draw this in your opening hand, because it will create basically a situation where you might not have a play, or alternatively you'll normal summon this and start some of your ones. But ideally you don't want to draw this, you want to go through E-Tally, for example. So those are the virtual world monsters. Then on to the spells and traps of virtual world. So you've got 3 Kowloon, you have to run 3 of these regardless. It starts off your play, as I mentioned before, you get this plus a Lulu in your opening hand, you've got full combo. This allows you to get out Yugioh, which then starts being put inside Qinglong into your grave. And speaking of which, I ran 3 Qinglong, but I have tried 2. And again, if I was going to get this down to 40 cards, which I believe it's at 42, I would potentially get rid of one of these to do that. But again, I find it's very useful because of the fact with the event package having to discard cards as well, plus a couple of tech options I add in here. I find that basically getting rid of this isn't too much of an issue, but in the worst case scenario, if you need to put this on the field to start your plays, you've got an additional one which you can play. Then standard for the trap lineup, 2 Yugioh and 1 Qinglong. Yugioh being the most important trap in the deck, and Qinglong, John Woo, sorry, basically being one that you want to put to the graveyard. If you do have it on the field, it's essentially a windstorm of, I can't remember what it is, but yeah, you put something to defense, which can help in a situation where, for example, your opponent's attacking with it, or going to attack with an XZ, you can step into defense mode, so therefore they can't go into Zeus, and that's the only time it really covers up, other than obviously in a really bad situation. So that's the virtual world lineup. So now going on to the adventure package. So in my adventure package, I only run the 2 Enchantress. I have run 3, I do have 3, but the problem is with this particular deck is so tight, but I don't usually find a situation where I need to go into multiple of these very often, so therefore 2 is around about the right number for this deck. If I could run 3, I potentially would just have that additional consistency, but it's not the end of the world. Then I run 3 rights. A right, I don't know how to pronounce it, but right, basically it's your adventure token starter. Need to get this to get that engine going. I know there's going to be a bit of issues with this because of the fact it's one of the issue cards at the moment in this format, but from the perspective of getting out, because the fact your virtual worlds don't rely on normal summons, doesn't really have an issue with this particular deck. So I mean, I run this at 3. I also run 1 Fateful Adventure. Don't need to run multiple of these, I find. 1 is perfectly fine. 1 Draco back and 1 with Griffin. Again, pretty standard. I can't see any reason to change this, and yeah, that's the adventure package. To go into the other cards outside those 2 packages, so I ran 2 Magician Souls. The reason I run 2 Magician Souls is because of the fact that 1, it unbricks my hand. I can then, for example, if I need to put Qinglong on the field to be able to start my virtual plays and I don't need to have it on the field, I can play this card and then be able to remove them to draw, basically, when the same with Fateful Adventure, so I have the ability there to draw multiple cards, but this deck does brick quite a lot in the past, so this also helps with that consistency. Illusion of Chaos works very well with Magician Souls, as you've probably seen. This allows you basically to search out, and they both search each other, so therefore you're getting rid of cards in your deck, which again, because of the fact you're discarding this, it's not a huge issue. Gets you into your plays, be able to draw cards and get further into your deck and be able to extend out. Then Fairy Tale Snow. Fairy Tale Snow seems, although it was made before, was made for virtual worlds, especially for Chuche, because of the fact when you use Snow, you'll then banish 7 cards, which Chuche can then potentially, over the course of 3 different turns, be able to banish, to to bring back those banished cards to pop cards. So it works very well with that. So the synergy from that perspective. I do run Scythe. Now, I run Scythe because of the fact I do run Baron, but just having it in the deck there, I think I potentially could cut, but it's not banned. And as we all know, it's such a powerful card that why wouldn't you run it if you have the opportunity to do so? I then run 2 Ghost Ogres. So this is my hand trap of choice, generally because of the fact that in the mirror match, you have to get rid of someone's Play the Adventure or whatever it will be. Also get rid of Griffin because of the fact if you destroy Griffin with this effect, it can't go back to the deck, therefore you can't use the effect. And also it does get rid of a load of problem cards on the field, which potentially could be an issue with obviously its effect to destroy. I then run 3 emergency teleports. Again, it's not free, so I have to run 3. I run a lot of psychics, so this will tend to go into Nyan Nyan, as I said before. I also have the Lulu as another example that I could go to, but again, it's to start your plays if you're in the binds, but also to extend out. And to finish off my main deck, I've got a 1 Call by the Grave, essentially just to manage hand traps. So yeah, that's the deck. So I'm going to go on to the extra deck. So my extra deck will start with Shen Shen. So virtual deck, you must run Shen Shen. There's no other way about it. I'm not going to go into too much detail other than the fact it basically banishes everything from the field when it leaves the field. And yeah, it can basically shut down so many decks, and they have to deal with this. Otherwise, basically, they have no follow-up if they are getting rid of the cards. They rely on the graveyard. One Yugioh. Again, because of the fact that if the amount of cards that go to the grave, it's usually indestructible and then has the ability to banish and pop cards. Then the standards, I run a Stardust Warrior and also Coral Dragon. Standard level 6s for this deck, and also they have the ability to draw cards depending on which one it will be. So Coral Dragon allows you to do it when it's synchroed off, and Stardust Charge allows you to do it when it's actually synchro summoned. Plus with the ability to pop and then to destroy all special summon monsters and secondary effects, which don't get used very often, but they are available. I do run the Zolkin package because I run a lot of spells in this deck and I can set them. Don't run many traps, but if I do need to, I have got the ability to go into this. It's one of these cards which I'm thinking about cutting, but for the time being, I'm going to stick with it. But there could have been ones like Yazi or Rise of Dragon could replace these quite easily. But for the time being, I'm going with these two. And Chen Ying, so the only so slow in here, but because it's level 10, this is where I use my my token and or my Griffin, going for a level 3 and a level 6, depending on which one it is. This basically allows you, with the amount of cards with, say for example, Snow, to then boost the attack by 700. I mean, it can get quite big because the fact this deck relies on banishing cards. So in a general turn, you should have you really about 3 or 4 cards banished, with Jinlong, Chu Jie, and Zhong Wu, for example. And then with Yan, this, and then Shen Shen sending stuff, this can get quite big very quickly. So run Baron de Fleur. If you can run a level 10 Synchro, you've got to run Baron de Fleur, and also this is the Siphlock card. So depending on, obviously, if I've got Scythe in the graveyard, can then bounce this, then play Scythe, and then obviously Siphlock my opponent. And then my own personal choice, I do run Sigma. I find this, I enjoy playing this card quite a lot because of the fact all you need is 2 level 6s, which I can do very quickly with this. If I play this first and someone plays Skill Drown, I go, it doesn't bother me because of the fact it's not affected by it. Also, if anyone nibs me, this is left on the field, which always surprises quite a lot of people. So yeah, this one's great. And then also being able to do double damage. So with, I'll go on to the first XC. So for example, I run Utopia Beyond. So if I make everything 0, attack with this is 6,000 damage, attack with this 3,000 damage, because I made everything 0 by bringing this out. And I do that quite often, that's an OTK. I also run Breaksword. Breakswords are very good level 3. So if I need to, for example, destroy a Qinglong on the field or a Chuche to be able to use the graveyard effects, or Zhong Wu, for example, I can use the effect of this to pop that and destroy one of my opponent's cards. It has come up quite a bit. M7, because I can then recycle cards. Generic level 6, works really well in this deck. I think it's been a staple in Virtual for as long as I can remember. Use FanFan, don't tend to go into this very often, but it has the ability to destroy cards again. It's just nice to have, but it's one of those cards that I could potentially cut if I needed to. Beatrice is important in this deck because it allows you to send Scythe or your Snow basically, or a Qinglong in the worst case scenario that you need to start your Blaze. So it gives you a number of different options. And then my bridge card is Gaia the Thunder Charger, which basically goes on top and they can do piercing damage, and again goes into Zeus. There's not much to say about Zeus. So yeah, that's my virtual world adventure profile. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like and comments. We're looking to grow the channel, so any comments, whether or not it's feedback, good, bad, or whatever, please do so. And please subscribe to the channel. We're trying to do as many of these kind of videos as possible, and obviously we're trying to improve the content as we go along and learning new things. But yeah, this is Kat from Set Free and Pass. Enjoy your day. Speak to you soon. Bye.